Hello, hello, hello. What's good, YouTubers, Westworld writers, and hosts? It's your boy 11 here, back again. And I just wanted to jump on real quick because I had a couple crazy ideas rolling through my head and just wanted to get them out just in case the off chance that I happen to call a couple of these rights before they show us on the show. So I figured I'd just run a quick one and get them out there real quick. Hope everybody out there is having an absolutely fantastic weekend so far and making it through all this madness that we're locked down and stuck in doing. So for everybody out there that's into Westworld and loves hearing theories, I figured I'd run a couple by you and see what we think. And I think we might even get a couple in tomorrow's episode. But I think this last one, this is basically just taking a deeper look down at episode 5, kind of a second look at it, some things that popped out at me when I was watching it for a second and even my third time. But this episode was definitely the epitome of, are you aware of the nature of your reality? I mean, that's basically what they broke down. Let it go. What's good, 1 2 David Adams? I see you out there. I'm just going to rip a quick one out there and rip one up and see if I can call a couple that I think they might be letting us know by tomorrow, and a couple things that just really jumped out at me when I was rewatching this thing. But this was one of the biggest questions you got to ask yourself is, what if you really could know your future? And if you would you want to know when and how you die? Like if somebody put that in front of you, would you really want to know? It's like the curiosity of us would absolutely make us want to know, I think. I mean, even if you said no at first, you'd probably go back like, okay, tell me. And you'd want to fight it, right? Like I was, what we were talking about on the other one. If you ended up dying on an airplane, you'd probably just quit riding airplanes. But like Andy said, you'd probably get stuck somewhere and maybe be knocked out and hurt and have to be flown somewhere. So I don't know. Could you really change your own fate if you'd already read what it was going to be? And I think so. I think that's what Westworld's telling us when Bernard says Dolores is letting everybody off their loops. He's basically telling everybody that he's basically saying that now everybody's going to know their future. They're off their loops and they'll basically be in charge of their own destiny. So I think that's pretty tight. I think that's kind of where they're going with that. And I don't know about you guys, but I am absolutely loving this. This might be my favorite season of Westworld all the way around. I mean, I love season 1, but this one's just got me thinking all sorts of sideways. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving this one. But last season, Dolores told Bernard that they're now the authors of their own stories. Now, Ford needed Arnold to create Westworld. Did Dolores, is one of the reasons she brought Arnold back is because she's going to need Bernard to recreate the real world? I was kind of thinking about that. It's like maybe that's why she brought him back. The same way Ford needed Arnold, she needs Bernard. And that's going to be her way to bringing it back. I mean, obviously, for the quick one, it was just a quick way for her to be able to kind of move without being seen because she's got the whole world looking for Bernard, like Westworld was all Bernard's fault. And, that kind of gives her an out. Nobody's looking for her, and it lets her kind of move between the scenes. But I think it's a bigger picture than that. And I think it might be she brought him back because, 1, to keep her in check, and 2, basically to keep her in check and help her recreate the new world. So I think that's kind of one of the big reasons she brought her back. Dolores is also a host, and hosts learn by observing actions. Now, last season, Bernard hid the key to the forge in Dolores' head. That's where Hale retrieved it out of dead Dolores' head. So isn't that what Dolores would think to do? I mean, if that's what they do, they learn from what they've seen. She basically used the words, "I changed my mind," when she was talking about the host, and I think she was being literal. Like, she changed her mind basically from dead Dolores' head and changed it and put it into Bernard's head. And like I've already said, I think Bernard and Dolores are a split personality. I think there's Dolores and Bernard. And I think when he hits that switch and he killed those workers he was with, like right before he did it, he said, "Please don't hurt him too badly." He's hit the switch, turned into Dolores, and Dolores is like, "Yeah, I don't care about humans," and just snapped both their necks and killed them both. So I think that's what that is. I think she literally changed her mind by taking it out of the one dead Dolores and keeping the ball and then putting it in Bernard. So I think that's kind of how that's going to go down. Pretty wild. What's up? Living my Rhapsody. How you doing out there? What's up? We got Jake Cruz out there. What's up? If anybody wants to jump in and let me know a couple of their quick theories, let me know. I will drop the link and we'll make sure that happens. But yeah, there's just some crazy shit going down. Some things really jumped out at me, and I just got to get them out before they show us. See if I'm right or I'm not. Yeah, I know. LMR says my head is still processing. Absolutely. This was a wild episode and so much fun. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. So yeah, she used the word, she changed her mind. I think she literally changed her mind into Bernard's, and that's where she sent the host not to the Sublime, but to Bernard's memory banks. I think that's what we're going to find out, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why they said you're the only one we can't replace, Bernard, because Bernard has all those hosts. She didn't send them to the Sublime, because remember, Dolores was going to kill them. She was just going to blast them, and basically they were going to be gone. She was going to kill them off forever. And she said, I've had a change of heart. Basically, she said, I've had a change of mind. And I think what she did was literally changed her mind, was taking it out of her dead host and put it in Bernard. So I really think that's what's going to happen. What if they are just, I really think that they're in Future World. I think we have a Future World situation going on and a Mirror World situation. I think that's what's happening. I think, what if they're in Future World and what if they're in Future World and those cops that came for Dolores are just like the natives trying to bring her back because she's off her loop? Like, I was just looking at that, and it's like, I think that's like, you're not going to have natives in Future World. So you have these cops, and I think those cops were exactly like the natives in Westworld. They were literally just there to grab Dolores and bring her back because she's off her loop. So I was looking at that, and it just really jumped out at me. I'm like, I'm telling you, that's what's happening right now. What's up? What do you guys think? How you doing out there? What's up, Jake Cruz? Are you absolutely loving this season? You loving Westworld season 3? What's everybody's favorite season so far? We're over halfway through. You like season 1, season 2, or are we loving season 3 the best so far? What's everybody's favorite out there? You just booked the last one. Oh yeah, absolutely. I am. So basically, yeah, I think they are in Future World. I think we're going to find out, and we're going to talk more about that. Maeve's daughter wasn't real, or at least she wasn't really hers, and she loved her all the same, like she really was her real daughter, and basically would do anything for her. So now that Dolores has a son, I mean, is the same thing going to happen with her and him? Like, is she going to rebel against Dolores and basically do anything to keep her son safe? I mean, we've seen Host get these real feelings, and it seems like Dolores is really starting to like connect with Hale. We know Bernard's already said, once you live another person's life, you kind of start feeling that life and connecting with it. So do we think that's going to happen? Do we think basically Dolores is going to go like Maeve and just go nuts and do anything to protect her new son? I think that'd be crazy. Jake says, this episode opened up a lot of possibilities. It did. It answered some questions, but I think it gave me more questions than it actually opened up. I mean, if I'm going to be honest about it. How powerful a drug is genre? I mean, I've heard some people call it boring, but this was a drug made for multi-billionaires. People are used to being in control of all aspects of their life at all times. I mean, this was supposed to be taken at like this artsy-fartsy party, making experiences throughout the night seem like different movie scenes. Yet Giggles, a man we know enjoys his highs, instantly knew what Caleb was high on. And he's like, watch out for that last act. And if he thinks it's crazy, I mean, how big a partiers are Liam and Roderick to be doing these types of drugs? And again, what that kind of leads me into is I think that Roderick and Liam are just yuppies partying it up in Future World. I think they're not the kind of people that are going to go hang out and be cowboys in Westworld. They're yuppies, and they're hanging out in Future World, getting high and going to these masquerade parties. I mean, you can't tell me that party wasn't exactly like the one in Westworld, in Pariah, like that orgy. You go in, you pick a black or a white mask. I mean, they're doing all the same stuff. It's basically like a Pariah party in Future World. So there's just way too many similarities. I mean, you got Roderick basically saying the exact same things Teddy was saying to William, and Roderick saying it and laying it out exactly that way to Liam. I mean, it's either a simulation or it's these two yuppies kicking it in Future World. What's up, Peter Griffin? I see you out there. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that the two things we're seeing this year are Future World and Mirror World, and we're going to get into Mirror World here in a little bit. But let me just answer this real quick. Bridge 4. Everybody shame Bridge 4 for not watching. Everybody shame Kev for not watching Westworld yet. How could you be missing this? One of the greatest, probably the greatest show out right now. You kidding me? But so yeah, I think those two are just yuppies kicking it in Future World. We were talking about the way that genre was breaking out. What do you guys in the chat? What do you guys think that the last act was that Beast Mode, that what Giggles was talking about when he said watch out for that last act? Because I was saying last week that I thought the horror was way earlier, and you're right. Everybody pretty much agrees that it was noir that it jumps into, because I mean they say it sends you right back to the black and white silent era. So yeah, once you take it, you get high. It sends you into noir, but I'm pretty sure the horror version of it was right after noir, because I mean they just play that music. It's all scary. It gets tense. It's kind of like an old black and white horror movie, like Psycho or The Birds or something, old school. And they just play that kind of music, and then it goes into suspense, and he tries to break out, and what's going to happen? Are they going to get him? And then it goes into action with the car scene and everything. And even Aaron Paul said in the in his exit, or in the after interview after the show, he called it in the recap. He said it goes for, the way he spelled it out was from horror to suspense to action to romance. And we all know it starts in noir, so that would be the 5 acts, right? So I think what Giggles was warning them about, and I think the last act was romance. And he's like, watch out for that last act. And that's why he was getting so hard and like falling in love, like looking like he was in love with Dolores. And a lot of people think that the last act was horror, but I don't think so. I think the last act was romance, and that's what he was telling them to watch out for. Or reality. That was the other one that that's what I thought the first time I saw it. I was like, that last act he's talking about is reality, and watch out for that one. That's a big one. But who knows? What's up, JD? Good to see you out there, Dragon. Yeah, I know you got one. I'm not going to run this long. Like I said, I just wanted to get some ideas out there before they run the show. So if I just happen to be right, and be like, called it. But yeah, it's going to be crazy. Can't wait to watch it tomorrow. I think they're going to drop a bunch of big ones, and I think we may have figured a few out early. So let's get it in. That Brazilian president had an earpiece in. What's up, chat? Who do you think he was talking to when Ciroc was talking to that Brazilian president at the very beginning of the show? The Brazilian president had an earpiece in. Was that his intelligence? Was that just like a speech interpreter because he was speaking a different language? It's like, what was that all about? And why would you really need that? Because Ciroc was already showing that he can speak multiple languages. So why wouldn't he just speak to that man in his own language? I didn't understand that. I was like, what was that in his ear? What do you guys think out there in the chat? Because that one had me thinking. It's like, who's he really talking to, and what's controlling him? And is that a host being controlled by somebody else? Or yeah, I was just like, what was that? Yeah, Living My Rhapsodies thinks maybe translators. Maybe, but like I said, why wouldn't Ciroc just talk to him in his own language? Ciroc talked in English and in Spanish. So, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. What's up, Christian Olis? I see you out there. Good to see you. Welcome. Yeah, and that fly. What was up with the fly in that man's face? The only other person we really saw fly on was Dolores. So are they just letting us know that he's like an outlier and he's a fly in the ointment? Is that what that whole thing was? We already saw. The whole reason Ciroc had to be there was because he was corrupt. Like, he wasn't there trying to corrupt him. He was there like, hey, you're doing this stuff up here with the magnesium or whatever. He's like, you need to stop that. He's like, so that way they won't rebel and we can keep everything on track. So I think I don't know. I think that guy might be showing that guy is actually an outlier, and yeah, they're going to have to do something to him if he doesn't get his act back in order. But yeah, just the earpiece kind of threw me off. I was like, who's talking to him in his ear, and what are they saying? I want to know. At the beginning of the episode, it shows Jean-Mi with a bloody nose. Why? Was this showing us that like Ciroc has always been abusive to his brother? We already see that Ciroc has no problem killing, so. Is Ciroc is that showing us that like a little hint that Ciroc was ruthless earlier? There's only 2 of them in the field. So, and he turns around and he's got a bloody nose. So is it like such a big blast from the bomb that it got a bloody nose? Is it like fallout from the radiation that's giving him a bloody nose? Or did Ciroc just whoop his ass real quick and give his brother a bloody nose? Westworld doesn't just drop these little tidbits like that for nothing. There's a reason he had a bloody nose. I'm kind of wondering what it was. Why are they showing us he had a bloody nose? He just get his ass whipped by his little brother? Living my LMR thinks might be a reaction to the radiation. I think you might be right. That's the first thing I thought when I saw it. But I mean, how come nothing happened to Sirach? It seemed like Sirach was even closer to it. But then again, I mean, maybe Jean-Mi was just, more sensitive to it or different makeup. All right, I don't know. But they're definitely telling us something. Why? And it was just a quick glance, and it's like, yeah, but all this other stuff's going on, so you kind of forget. But yeah, why did he have a bloody nose, and what are they trying to tell us with that? What do we got? We got Jake Cruz out there saying his brothers seem fairly violent too. Yeah, his brothers seemed like the first one to have the idea to kill people. So maybe they were both violent and they both used to brawl. We know that's what brothers do. Brothers do fight. So maybe they're just having a little spat or something. But what was the reason for it, and why is Westworld telling us and showing us that? Makes it a little interesting. His brain is messed up because he was more vulnerable. Maybe, or was it the radiation that was melting their DNA that they said they had to take the pills to stop? Yeah, I don't know. We don't know what's going on. Maybe, what's up? I see Chrissy Oldstone's just in the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, who knows? Maybe they were just brothers and maybe they always fought and maybe that's what they're saying. They never got along and maybe this is more of a revenge thing that Sirach ends up doing to his brother instead of trying to help him. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to help him. Wink, wink. I'm finally getting the better of that bastard. Who knows? Like I said, they're definitely telling us something with that bloody nose, and we need to figure it out. We need those answers. Speaking of needing answers, what's up, chat? Who do you think called the ambulance for Dolores in the first place? Dolores, all of a sudden, I mean, Caleb ends up showing up there out of nowhere, and he kind of comes back and gets her. But who called the ambulance? How did the ambulance get there? Did Dolores call her and did she call it for herself and it came in, or is it that because that's all a part of her plan? But I was just thinking about that the other day. It's like, how'd the ambulance know to get there? Who called her for that? Is that all just part of Dolores's plan? What if what if this is all just like a Pinocchio story and Rehoboam just wants to become a real boy? Like he knows about hosts now and he saw Dolores and he's got jealous. He just wants an actual body. And that's what this is. This is just a Pinocchio story. So Rehoboam just wants to become a real boy. That would be hilarious. They brought back some old stuff like that. Chrissy Woldstone thinks, I assume Caleb called the ambulance. Maybe they didn't show anything like that. It's kind of they just showed up. But yeah, maybe he could have. Most geniuses are slightly off. 20% of geniuses are homeless. It's a stat I never knew of, but does not surprise me. I believe it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this thing's little things we could fill out, but like it just kind of helps form the opinion. Like, whose plan is this? Is it all Dolores just making this up and having everybody do what she wants? But yeah, I don't know. Just little things like that always just bumping into my brain and driving me nuts. When switching scenes from Sirach and his brother to Caleb and the crew riding that train, there's like this long, like red streak seemingly passing by at like a real rapid speed. Is this letting us know that basically we're now entering Rehoboam and everything basically that was going on in that train was a simulation? That's kind of what I got out of that. Because I mean, it's like a long scene phase, like when they go from one scene to the other, and it's like this real fast streak, almost like Rehoboam, like spinning around real fast, or like something inside Rehoboam spinning by real fast. That red light you see inside it. Anybody else get that or think anything about that? That was kind of tripping me out. It's like, well, I think that's them letting us know that we're going into a simulation, and everything we're about to see is inside a simulation. And I think we got some more things here that actually back that up that we're about to talk about. When Dolores says it's their fate, their data, you just stole it and put it all together, why should you get to control it? Like, is she saying that everybody's all host, or that this is just a simulation to see different outcomes? Like, is that maybe like why later on the beach, kind of, I'll get to that in a second, but it seems like they're kind of, Dolores is saying that this is all like, if she's saying that it's their data, you just stole it and put it all together and kind of reconstructed it. Isn't that the kind of thing you would do to host to control it? Or is she really talking about the humans? And the thing that made me think about that, like this is just all simulations running, is later when they're on the beach, that location of Liam's bullet looks more like Caleb killed him than Ash. Like Ash was pointing up at his head and Caleb was pointing like down, and it was down on the side of Caleb, and it seemed like more like Caleb would have shot him. So it's like, this just kind of seems to me like it's different simulations playing out, and I think they're inside the simulation. So is everybody in their host, or are they in the outside world and everybody's host that she's talking about with all the data, or are they just inside a simulation and different simulations are running out? But that's what I think. Oh, snippy, snippy, snap. But yeah, I definitely think that thing that happened on the beach has happened multiple times. And I think maybe, I don't know, maybe Ash killed him one time, maybe Caleb killed him one time, or maybe that's just why Ash said, I guess I do have a choice. And they kind of made it seem like she had the choice to kill him, but it's more like she pulled out the gun and was pointing it, but she had the choice to not kill him, and then Caleb ended up killing him. But yeah, if you look at that gun, the bullet wound's on the whole other side of the body. So I mean, it had to be Caleb that shot him. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's why when he's laying there going, "You did it, you did it," he's saying, "You did it, you shot me, not her. You did it." So I think that could be how that situation's playing out. If Dolores has, it looks like Dolores kind of has contacts rolling in her eyes. Like she's always just kind of standing there, and it looks like her eyes are reading something, like she's wearing contacts. Have you guys noticed that? It seems like something's like those contacts, like something's feeding her information, like something's telling her what to do, or maybe she even has like Ford's code inside her, and basically Ford's running her. You guys get that or see anything like that? Yep, Jay Cruz, he was on drugs. I mean, that could be it. But I definitely think that Caleb killed him. But yeah, did you guys see that when he's just sitting there? I think basically her eyes flickering is her reading something, and I think somebody's telling her what to do and controlling her. Or, I mean, it could just be her inside Rehoboam getting information and reading it real quick. But, man, that'd be a trip if Ford was inside Dolores this whole time running this. That'd be kind of crazy. I would love that. It looks like what do you guys think? What if Insight is just like a modern day Westworld? Basically, it's like you don't have to physically go there. You can just put on these glasses, lay down, and be wherever you want, be whatever you want. And like Insight is like the new and improved version of Westworld. Because I mean, if you think about it, and I mean, what I was going to be talking about here in a sec, like while they're riding that train, how come it's only Insight's commercials running on the train? And when they get off the train, it's the only signs you see anywhere and everywhere are Insight signs. And it's not like regular advertising like commercials. Like it's like logo signs like you'd have on the inside of your own building. So it's like, it seems like everywhere you go, it's just Insight, Insight, Insight. It's like, it almost seems to me like Insight is the new version of Westworld where you don't go there and actually ride out and act out all this stuff. It's basically just glasses you put on and you lay down, and right where you're at is kind of what it is, and that makes it up. Oh, what's up? We got Ricky Hunt just made the chat. Good to see you out there, brother. Good to see you. Oh, we got Living My Rhapsody. I wonder if he hears the sounds while having his glasses on. What sounds are that you're talking about? Yeah, I wonder, like, if you put those glasses on, are you just 100% like in tune on what you're seeing through the glasses, or are you aware of your outside surroundings? Can you hear other things going on? That's a good question. Interesting. But yeah, the more and more I think about it, I'm pretty sure Insight's basically just a new and improved Westworld where you basically put on glasses and you can go on all these little parties and rodeos and do whatever you want. Like, you don't have to go anywhere. You just basically go into a couch, lay down, put on glasses, and you're in fantasy land. So I think that's what's happening. Basically, but yeah, like I said, I mean, it's just too convenient that everywhere you look is Insight pictures and Insight signs. The only commercials running on the train are Insight. Everything's Insight. So I think they're inside. It has to be. There's no other advertising going on. It's all 100% happening in Insight. Even like, and that's what I'm talking about with the mirror world. I think some of this might be happening in Future World. We know there's 5 worlds in the park. I think one of the worlds is Future World, and part of this is going on in there. And I think a lot of the other stuff is maybe a simulation, but it might just be happening in Insight, which is like its own little thing, its own little world going on. Like I said, you put these glasses on, and that's the mirror world part of it. So, I mean, it's got everything that the real world has, and that way you can go on, put the glasses, act like you're in the real world, but become who and whatever you want. So I think that's kind of what's happening. And like another sign that they were in future world or Insight's mirror world is like how similar it was to when like everybody else came to Westworld. You know, you get off the train, you ride up the escalator, all the mirrors and everything are Insight pictures and stuff going on, things you can do. So, I mean, it's exactly like what was happening in Westworld is happening when they get off this train. And it's like, I think they're inside. I think they're inside Insight. What we got? We got Ricky Hunt says, I was wondering, do you think that mustached guy Sirach pointed out to as the future president was also an agitator? It said they send agitators to the military with Sirach trying to get rid of them. Interesting. I like that. Could be, but I don't know why would he point him out specifically unless he's somebody that was like made it like all aces in his retraining program, so he's next man up. Could be. I like that. But yeah, it's just too much when they're it's too much exactly like Westworld when they get off the train, right up the escalator, all the pictures are Insight, just like all the pictures were Westworld and things you can do. It's like all Insight propaganda playing on every single screen the exact same way. So I'm positive they're inside. That's Mirror World is Insight. It's like this new business that you put on glasses and go party in Fantasyland. So it's either that or basically that the debacle at Westworld, with everything that happened out there, that Insight bought out Delos. So, I mean, maybe this is all like just happening inside Westworld, and these are the changes that a new company's made to it. Like Insight is actually inside Westworld going on. Maybe they're the new company that bought it, but I don't know. I think it might be two different things. If they're on the outside, I think Insight is a mirror world, and that's the new and improved Westworld. How did Insight acquire all that data? How did Insight? How were they able to? I mean, we know Westworld. They had people had to go in there and they had to wear the hats, and the hats read the minds and what was going on. How did Insight get all that data? It says, I mean, it has all this stuff. Has it just constantly been stealing from Westworld? Is that where it got everything? But yeah, I mean, Insight's, if it's running a real world or it's got all this data or it's basically Sirach's running everybody, how did he said they got all the information from Peter Dempsey Sr., but how did he get it? Like, how did Insight acquire all that data? And he said it was before all the privacy laws and stuff came. But still, I mean, just getting calls and texts aren't going to get that information. Not like Westworld had it. Not to be able to make it that solid. So is that the extra information that Rehoboam wants? Is that why why he's so adamant Sirach wants that information for Rehoboam? Because it's not complete? I mean, because there's just no way, you're not going to get all those in-depth feelings and stuff from just text and calls and watching. I mean, you need that head monitor to see how people are really thinking and acting while they're doing the acts and committing the acts. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Got Jake Cruz considering at one point that it was Caleb's simulation to see if he would sell out his species. Interesting. Jake Cruz not saying it's a simulation, but hopes not. There's definitely some simulation scenes going on. I mean, 100%. Some of these scenes that are happening inside the simulation. But that's kind of for us to figure out which is what. Like what about like Ash and Giggles? Like Beast Mode. He has been wearing that same shirt in every single scene that we've seen. Ash has been wearing that same outfit in every single scene that we've seen. It's like, what did Dolores wear every scene we saw in Westworld? She always had on that blue farmer dress. So, I mean, is that kind of letting us know that Ash and Giggles are hosts? We know hosts never changed. I mean, Teddy always had on that same cowboy gear. Maeve always wore that same thing. Clementine always had that same lingerie on. So is that one way that they're letting us know that basically that Ash and Marshawn or Giggles are just hosts? I was thinking about that. It's like, we have not seen them change. But speaking of, we've seen Dolores change, but how long's it been since her and Caleb have changed clothes? Like I was just watching, we saw when Dolores came and saved Caleb up on his work site, it was nighttime. So how long have they just been walking around hanging to where all of a sudden the very next scene, they're walking by those big buildings that have the signs on them? It's like, how long have they been walking around, just hanging out all night, just strolling through the city? Or is this another scene, or is this in the simulation, or is this completely different? It's like that jumped pretty quick. It's like, how long have they been hanging out? I'm just trying to say. But yeah, I think Ash and Giggles. I mean, how did they know right exactly where Dolores and Caleb's car chase would end up? Like, yeah, I called for backup, but you were in a car chase flying all around the city. How would they know right where to end up? You weren't driving. You weren't in charge of the car. So how would you be able to tell them? Dolores, I mean, you told her backup was coming, but she didn't know anything about it. So how'd they get up there? Oh, what's up? I see you out there, Pat. My whiskey den, doing good, doing good. Just trying to get some of these Westworld theories out there to see if I can write before they show us tomorrow. So let's see if we figure that out. Caleb had that suit on. Yeah, Caleb's still walking around. He had a suit and basically took off the jacket. Dolores has been walking around in that black outfit ever since he been pulled out. It's just like, how long have they been walking around? And like, what? I'm just trying to figure out the timeline. Like, how long has this been happening? Or are those different scenes that they're jumping in between, in and out of? It seems like it has to be different scenes at different times. After retraining the Outlier's mind, does Sirach have them wear like special contacts to keep them going with the illusion? Like, you know, he can put on glasses on people and have them see certain things. It's like, it seems like the next step to the glasses would just be putting in contacts. So you think maybe that's how they keep these outliers in line? Like they retrain the brains and put them through all this stuff, and then they put contacts in, and that kind of helps keep up the illusion. I was thinking about that because they keep focusing on people's eyes for some reason. So I'm kind of wondering what that is. It's like, why they keep focusing in on people's eyes. It's like they might all be wearing contacts just to basically keep the simulation up, or be in a simulation with the contacts. And yeah, this is a trip. I don't think I've ever done a stream by myself. It's so weird just talking. It's kind of crazy, but getting it done. Like I said, we got to get these out there before they let us know and see if we figured it out before they told us. While they're on the train, Liam seems to see a soldier, and then the screen slides left, and that big handrail bar from the train, it kind of stops right in the middle, and it splits the screen like into a split screen. And that just kind of screamed that like there's dual personalities in Caleb, like he's half someone or half something else. And that kind of had me going. It's like, at first, you know, I know a lot of people think that Caleb might be Sirach's brother, but I just don't think that's what it is. And then I was sitting there looking at the trailers, and I'm like, it's almost the exact same thing. You see Caleb laying there, you see him freaking out, you see him with those glasses on, you see him with the white straitjacket on. We know he's got a drip in his mouth. Now, who else? I mean, we know Giggles was dripping the first time Giggles saw him, but the only other person we've seen with an actual thing, like metal thing inside his mouth where he was actually seeing it, is on that intro when they're putting one in the Man in Black. They're putting one in William. So the only two people we know for a fact have those metal drips in them are the Man in Black and William. They're both sitting there freaking out. They're both fighting it. They're both in white straitjackets. They're both in those clear goggles. I'm like, fuck, Caleb is the Man in Black. Like Caleb is the new and improved, retrained Man in Black, and that's why Dolores went and hooked up with him, because Dolores knows that's the MIB, just in a different body. I am positive that's what's up. It has to be. So yeah, unless we see them, both of them in the same scene, and even that, I mean, there's a way they could do that, but I'm positive that's what they're showing us with those two things being like that. Caleb and the Man in Black are the same person. That it has to be. Jake Cruz, what did he say? He said, like I said before, I definitely think someone changed his memory. Yeah, absolutely. We know his memory's been tweaked. That's why he's having all these flashbacks and things like that. But the more I think about it, that's why Dolores hooked up with Caleb specifically, because she knows that's the MIB. So yeah, it's definitely. I'm just would put money on the fact that Caleb is the new and improved host MIB. That's just how I think it's got to be. I think that's what they're showing us with that. I mean, the images. I mean, if you could, what I need to do is grab a screenshot and like put that on a video and like just have them like side by side playing. It's like the same thing they're showing, only with different bodies. So that just, it just makes me feel it's got to be that way. When Dolores jumped in front of that assassin's bullet, it looked like one of those bullets went straight through her. Did you guys notice that? And like when she very first turned around to look at Liam, like her first look was down. Like she looked down to see if he got shot. Do you think that there's any way that Liam got shot in that situation and they just didn't show it? The thing that makes me think maybe not is we see him on the beach supposedly right after this, and we don't see a bullet wound. But again, that scene on the beach could be a simulation that was being ran. That could be a totally different timeline, or yeah, like I said, that could just be a totally different situation. Like they made it look like it was right after each other, but it's not. That's a totally different timeline. But I almost think that maybe Caleb got shot right there. And maybe they're going to say something or speak on that in the next one. He's going to be like, oh, my God, you're a host. And she's going to look at him and be like, shit, so are you. That'd be sweet. But, yeah, I don't know. The way that bullet went through and she turned and looked at him, I almost thought that maybe he got shot. And who knows? Or maybe he's not a host. Maybe he's human and he's just so high on genres still that he didn't even feel the shot. Could be that, but I don't know. And when he was walking away, like he turned around and they shot it at just the perfect angle that you wouldn't be able to see if it shot him. So I thought that was kind of cool. I think that's something they might speak on in the next one. See what's happening. Yeah, that's like I said, man. They gave us some questions. They gave us some answers, but I think they gave me more questions than answers in this last one. This got me thinking all sorts of crazy stuff. I thought I was telling just how they all happen to be wearing black except Liam in the gray shirt reading Basic. Like, who comes to Westworld just to be a good guy? I mean, most of them come to portray fantasies, so the people who are inherently bad would want to play good guys. Liam's not wearing all white, just a gray shirt, kind of like telling us he's not really such a good guy, but basically just the best out of that bunch. Just kind of one of those off-the-wall things I think they're kind of showing us. I think Caleb might be Sirach's brother. I was thinking before. Some people do think that. Some people think that Caleb might be Sirach's brother. That's why Dolores wanted him. It's the best way to defeat Sirach. When Liam said it was you did it, a lot of people seem to think that Caleb killed Francis, but I think Liam was saying you did it, you killed me, and we already talked about that. Is there a chance Caleb and Francis were both hitmen on a job? Caleb had a change of heart and then ended up having to kill Francis. People are starting to think maybe Caleb killed Francis. That's why he was freaking out when he had the hand on his hands all bloody, trying to keep Liam alive. And maybe he was flashing back. Maybe he was doing that to Francis. Yeah, maybe like, I don't know, maybe Caleb was a hitman in a past life, and all of a sudden he wanted to change and not do the hit. And Francis like, hey, we got to do this. And Caleb's like, no, I'm not going to. And something came up, and he ended up having to kill Francis. That'd be kind of a weird little twist. We got to get more information on Francis, because I mean, we see one thing, like they're talking to each other in jail, so that's kind of crazy. Again, though, I don't think they were just friends. I think they're lovers. I think Caleb's gay. I don't think there's going to be any love story between him and Dolores. I think he's gay, and Francis was his lover. And I think that, and I think that's the backstory they're giving him, because just to tweak out his mind and have it as far away from letting him know that he was actually the Man in Black reincarnated. Oh, because you wouldn't want him remembering that. Some say the Man in Black is irredeemable, but what if he ends up having to give his life to save all of mankind? I mean, would that be enough to redeem himself? It's irredeemable. That's crazy. It's like there's always a chance, isn't there? How long is it Dolores acts like? Oh yeah, Dolores acts like she likes Caleb, but he didn't tell. Dolores acts like she likes Caleb because he didn't tell the men who were going to kill him about her. But I was thinking about that. Like, what exactly would he be able to tell them? Like, what did he know? He didn't know where she was. He didn't even really know her name, did he? What the hell was she going to tell? At that point, she didn't even know his name or know her name. So she didn't know where he lived. He knew nothing about her. So what was he ever going to tell him anyway? So I thought that was kind of weird that she loves him now because he didn't tell him anything about her, and he says he didn't tell him anything about her because she's the first real thing that happened. What were you going to say? What could you have said if you wanted to? I was just thinking about that. I was like, that made no sense to me. Sirach tells Hale, do you think you're the only one under my control? It would seem that there's another mole at the park. Now, to me, it was Stubbs that let Halloris off the island. Is Stubbs the mole? I mean, under my control is pretty hosty kind of talk. Is that why Stubbs was so terrible at his job? I mean, you guys know I was just, for 2 years straight, just railing on how awful Stubbs was, like, worst security guard ever. Is that basically because he was a mole the whole time and letting that stuff go so Sirach could get what he needed? Like, did he let Halloris go out of the park because he knew that she might have the info that Sirach wanted? What do you guys think about that? Is our man Stubbs going to end up being the mole? Yeah, I don't think William was all that bad either, Jake Cruz. I think, I mean, the way people are like, oh, he used to rape and hurt Dolores, but they forget that he was doing that to wake her up. In his mind, the host needed all that pain and hardship to go through in order to be able to wake up. So, yeah, I don't think he's all that bad either. I think in his mind, he was doing what he thought he needed to do. So I don't think it. Oh, yeah, you already know, once you David Adams, we keep the tinfoil going up in here. We got to keep it strong. It's what we do. It is what we do. But I'm telling you, man, I'm thinking I might be onto something on a few of these. Yeah, it's just too weird the way it was set up there and still there. I don't know, Jake Cruz, if he's not the mole, who is that second mole Sirach was talking about? I mean, it just almost seems to me it has to be. But you never know. I'm sure we're going to find out very rapidly. Some say, what if Sirach is just the new Ford and head of the park? What if we end up finding out that they're all still in the park and basically Sirach is just the new Ford, the new head in charge? Like I said, maybe Insight buys out Delos because of the clusterfuck. You know, their stocks drop, they're in the tank. Insight comes in, buys them up. And Sirach is basically just the new Ford. And Dolores has offer loop. And he's just trying to get her back on track and get the park back in order. I mean, that would be wild if we ended up finding that out. I think that'd be awesome. Sirach is just the new, basically, zookeeper. He's just the new Ford trying to get shit back in order. That'd be awesome. Because what if we find out that Dolores is not really awake? She's basically just a host that's learned how to bypass her fucking on-off safety switch. So now she does, can't cease all motor functions on her because she learned how to that switch blew or fried or whatever. She learned to get by that. So we're all playing into this. Yeah, she's awake. She's alive now. And no, she's just a robot that can't be turned off, basically. I thought that'd be pretty cool. Oh, thanks for stopping in, LMR. Glad to see you, and can't wait to see you next time. But yeah, I think, what if we find out that basically Sirach's just the new zookeeper and he's basically just the new man in charge of the park, and Dolores is just a host that's basically off her loop. Those cops that came to get her were just like the natives, trying to get her back on her loop and get her back and trying to reel things in and get the park back on track. That would be amazing. We're all making all these crazy grand theories, and we find out it's just the basic, most easy premise it could have ever been. That'd be great. Dempsey said he saw Rehoboam's outcome and that Sirach lets him walk away from there, but Sirach said he had run 1 million simulations and they all came up with the downfall of all mankind. But here he is again, supposedly battling off the downfall of all mankind from another outlier. So basically, isn't this just showing that the downfall of all mankind is inevitable? I mean, it seems like Sirach keeps coming up with all these excuses. It's the downfall of all mankind. It sounds like the downfall of all mankind is coming no matter what. And I don't really think it's so much maybe even the downfall of all mankind. Or it might just be his downfall, like he won't be able to be in charge of it anymore. It's his downfall. He won't be able to construct and have mankind doing what his will anymore. And that could be it. Or it could have been what I called right out of the gate in the first episode, and the downfall of all mankind is inevitable. There are no more humans, and these are basically all just robots keeping it moving, keeping it going, basically doing what they were programmed to do. So I think that'd be kind of, I think it's starting to look more and more like it could be that way. The downfall of all mankind was inevitable. It happened. There are no more humans, and these are just robots kind of rolling, doing what they were programmed to do, just continuing for all time until they burn out, until their parts no longer work. That'd be pretty amazing. So why is Dempsey? Basically, Dempsey was over there. He knows that Rehoboam can have more than one outcome. Why did he only check to see like one outcome for his favorable outcome, that he was going to be able to walk away from that meeting with Sirach in the desert, while Sirach's over there running millions of simulations to seek answers? Like, he should have known better than that. He's like, I checked Rehoboam and I walk away from here. He's like, Sirach's like, not so much. We got these little white spaces. So it's like, I don't know. It seemed like Dempsey should have been smarter than that. That seemed kind of silly. But he was going down anyway. He was going to get greedy, and one way or another, he was never going to make it through all that. But we still got to figure out why they say that why Liam thinks it's his father that was so big, and why he was so needed and such an integral part of this. It seems like he thought his father made it, and the last his father checked it and they checked it, they didn't even realize what Rehoboam was doing. And I don't know, the stories are not melding there, so we're going to have to figure out what's going on with that for sure. Yes, Ricky Hunt, they said Dempsey didn't understand it, and that's why. Why did they say why is there this other story that his dad's like the one who built it, and basically they didn't understand what the machine was doing at the end of it, like the last time they checked in on it. But yeah, they have some conflicting stories going on right there. Absolutely. I don't think William's all that bad. Absolutely not. I think Stubbs is going to be the second mole. I mean, what else is he doing this season? What else is he even here for? That's a big one. Let's see. Dolores, a host in Westworld. That was them being host, I believe that. At the beginning of episode 4, the man in black was yelling, "You're not real," and firing bullets into the mirror. He was hearing voices, but how do we know that the "you're not real" wasn't him talking about himself? That coupled with the way Emily was saying, "Mom's dead, Logan's dead, everybody who you ever cared about is dead," was basically the same thing he was saying to James Delos at the fidelity test. So, I mean, are these all more clues letting us know that the man in black is already a host? He's already not there, already not alive. I mean, I think when he was firing into that glass, he was talking about himself, saying, "You're not real." I think that might have been a little clue to us. What do you guys think? What do you guys think out there in the chat? Is the man in black real? Is he a host already, or is he a real guy? Is he a real man? What do we think he is? His dad likely told him it was all him. Yeah, I mean, as far as Liam and his dad, Dempsey Sr., we got to figure out and see what all was said between those two and why there's such conflicting stories. Life always finds a way, but so does death. Absolutely. Absolutely. He's real. Once David Adams thinks that MIB is real, it could be. That would make sense for why they. I guess we just don't know about the drip. We know we know Giggles has a drip, or he was talking about dripping, and I'm pretty sure he's a host. We know Caleb has a drip. I'm pretty sure he's a host. And now it looks like the MIB is getting a drip put in him. That would lead me to believe that he's a host. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, we need more information on that. But from what I've seen so far, I think they're all hosts. Ricky Hunt thinks there's a host and real MIB in the Oh, he thinks there's one of each. You got a host and a real MIB, huh? Because, I mean, we saw at the park way back when Dolores went through the forge or whatever and was going through the MIB, they were already doing a whole bunch of tests on them. I mean, so that kind of points to him being a host, doesn't it? I mean, why would they already have that many fidelity tests going on with that many different MIBs if he wasn't already a host? Because, I mean, they only had that many James Delos hosts going on with fidelity test once he was dead and trying to figure out how to get his brain in a host body. So, yeah, I think they're letting us know that the MIB is already gone. He's a host. He's a host. He's a host. I think that's also the reason they keep showing Caleb looking at his hand. remember I said on the last stream, I'm like, why does Caleb keep looking at his hand? What are they trying to tell us with that? He keeps showing us his hand. I think it's because his hand used to be mangled because Caleb is the new improved MIB Doppelbot. I mean, that's why he has a military grade drip, because he's one of the richest men in the world, or at least used to be. And those scenes that we see in the trailer, like I said, they mirror one another with the MIB and Caleb inside Inner Journeys, both wearing the white straight jackets, the clear glasses, both fighting the system, both struggling all the time. It's like, it almost like, I think you could run a side-by-side picture of them doing the exact same thing with the exact same actions. And I think that's exactly like, I can never figure it out. I'm like, why do they keep showing Caleb looking at his hand? It's because he actually has a hand, because it used to be mangled and all messed up, and there's something he's remembering there. So I'm just feeling pretty darn solid that the Man in Black is Caleb. Caleb's the host MIB. Something kept going wrong. Like maybe that's why host can't get by mirrors. Like James Delos always was in the mirror and carving his face up. We know once Charlotte looked at Dolores, and we know that Charlotte was Dolores, she kept cutting herself because she couldn't understand it. The Man in Black, he shot up all the mirrors, and he couldn't get past a mirror, even when Charlotte was trying to take him outside. So I think maybe that's the thing that they figured out, is you can't put the same person in the same thing, because their mind will see it and they'll know something's not right. So I think maybe they figured out that you have to take the core memory and put it in a different body. So they figured that out, and they took the Man in Black's core, put him in Caleb's body, and boom. Now we got true live Doppelbots out there running around. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about that? I wouldn't care if a copy of me survived. It isn't me exactly. Yeah, it's not the real you. It's just a robot, so who really cares? It's basically more just for the memories. So, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's going to be one of the biggest reveals, is basically they find out that you can't put the same memory in the same looking body because it trips out, so you got to put it in a different body, and we're going to find out that Caleb is the MIB, Men in Black. As far as this new trailer coming up, it looks like somebody's trying to torture Dolores with those tubes sticking inside her chest. I think she does that to herself to power up. I think it looks like she gets her arm blown off and she's in bad shape. So I think basically she sticks those tubes in herself to like power up and to keep going, because she's basically on death's door. They make it look like somebody's doing that to her to torture her, but I think they might be doing that to save her. I think that's kind of a little mind switch that they're doing. And yeah, those words on the building when Dolores and Caleb were walking by, what do you guys think those words were for? You had the great big words of expression on one and then collaboration on the other. So it's like expression and collaboration. I mean, is that just, again, one more thing saying that they have Doppelbots splitting and they're two different people inside the same being? Or is it, I don't know. And it seemed like the building in the background, I don't know if it was like just a bad reflection of expression, but it almost, I mean, it was blurred out, too blurred out to see, but it almost looked like it might have said like retention, or even could have been freedom. It was so blurred out you couldn't see, but I was like, oh man, that might be a big clue if somebody could figure out what that third thing is on the back wall. It's like that expression, collaboration, and then whatever that third, like retention or freedom. I think they're letting us know that different people are in these different bots. What's up? What do you guys think about all that madness? Am I just way too far down the rabbit hole, or are some of these things going to come true? What do you think out there? They're going to kill her. Her probe will be destroyed, and Caleb will take up the fight for her, a human leading a host revolution. And you say, I'm the one with the crazy tinfoil. Could be, though. Could be. One never knows. You're going to go with the old Terminator story. I feel you. But, yeah, like I said, I just wanted to get on here real quick and throw out some quick theories and see if maybe what was what. Maybe if we called a few of these before it actually happened, and see if it really goes down like that. What do you guys think? Is it just crazy all the way, too far out on the limb, too far down the hole, or can some of these possibly come true? One will never know. But yeah, like I said, I just want to get these out here before we see the show tomorrow. We'll get some more answers, and we'll be back on. Trying to get these schedules. It's not easy, but we will be on Monday or Tuesday. I know a lot of people are used to Tuesday, so I think I'm going to try to get back and just do it Tuesday night. But yeah, we'll see. Get back with the Red Bearded Knowledge and see what we can do. So be ready. It might be Monday night, but I will definitely try to get back on Tuesday, because I know that's what everybody's kind of used to, and they'll get back on track to our actual time. You get your stuff fried, a bunch of stuff tinfoil. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about some of these, man. I'm feeling pretty good. Jay Cruz says, I'm not sure all that can happen this season. Yeah, they're definitely going to leave us hanging. I mean, they're not going to answer all our questions, that's for sure. But I think they're going to give us a few of them for sure. The tinfoil is strong. We try to keep it real. We try to keep it based in at least some facts. So there's always a chance of getting a few of these things right. So I just want to thank everybody for making their way out here. I know my man JD's got a little thing going on his channel. So if everybody's looking for another live stream, make sure you get out there, support the Dragon, check out his. I'm going to go over there for a little bit myself when I get out of here. And yeah, other than that, everybody have an absolutely fantastic rest of the weekend. Enjoy that show tomorrow, and look forward to seeing you probably Tuesday night around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Be easy, y'all.